And you were watching live. I've always wanted to do that. Vikings Vintage Day. Oh, JJ, and with everything going on. Um, so let's talk Vikings rookie quarterbacks. There really hasn't been that many, so it's going to be relatively short. But we do have some that did start. So
Vikings, let's win this game. Skull Vikings, honoring the name. Go get that first down, then get a touchdown. Rock 'em, sock 'em, fight, 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 fight. Go Vikings, run out the score. You'll hear us yell for more. V-I-K-I-N-G-S. Skull Vikings, let's go.
kind of an abrupt ending there. Hey. So, with JJ, people are saying I've seen reports saying that he looks good. I've seen reports saying that he looks like a rookie. Well, maybe he's both. Maybe he's a rookie who's looking good.
He's going to have those moments. That's what people have to realize.
Yeah.
This is new to him. I mean, whatever he did in college, throw it out the window. It was a new chapter. So he's going to have growing pains. And I told people that when I did my Tony's Take this week. Be patient because his team's going to go through some growing pains as a team, and also with JJ McCarthy should he start. So be prepared, folks. But it's a new era of Viking football. I'm optimistic, a lot more optimistic than I have been than I was with the former guy. So, win, lose, or draw, I'm still a Viking fan. So, but yeah, it's for the Viking fans out there that are expecting instant success. Temper your thoughts. We'll see what happens. That's all we can do.
So, if you look at the Vikings history, the only one who really, 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 when he got drafted, who was supposed to be the day one starter, when you look at that, is Teddy Bridgewater. He's truly the only quarterback the Vikings ever had that when they drafted him, he was sitting, okay, you're the starter. Even though he didn't even start, he was the only one who truly was the starter. Because Tarkenton came in the first game, 61.
Right, and Tarkenton was also drafted in the third round. Usually if you're drafted in the third round or later, and back then, remember, they had 20 rounds, you weren't even supposed to make the team. So they were expecting, and I know Van Brocklin he was expecting George Shaw, the Giants quarterback, to be the starter for the team. And as luck would have it, it didn't work out like that. So, but yeah, it's, Tarkenton said it himself. He wasn't even supposed to make the team.
And we all know, we can make fun of the Bears for their quarterback issues, but
yeah, and you know what? They've had quarterback issues since Sid Luckman. They haven't really had they've had quarterbacks that were good, but they've been 1 year good, next year not so good. Hot and cold. You could say that about got something in my eye. You could say that about Jay Cutler. He was hot and cold. Plus, he was injured a lot. He got injured.
He's yes, he's no. Sorry, some people get that joke.
So yeah, I mean, for the most part, we've only had 2 rookie quarterbacks actually start for the team. They didn't start the season. The only one that really started the season, you could say, was Tarkenton.
Right, because Tommy Kramer sat 2 years.
Yeah, Tommy sat 2 years.
Teddy Bridgewater played the second game. Was it Castle or Sean Hill that started the first game?
Castle got hurt against the Saints.
Yeah,
and they put Teddy in for the rest of the season. and that was the start of the Bridgewater era. Christian Ponder was like the fourth or fifth. I think the Vikings were like 1-5 when 1-4 or 1-5 when Ponder took over from Donovan McNabb in 2011.
Yeah.
And then the other one, Dante Culpepper, he didn't play until 2000. He was drafted in 99. So usually, and with the feeling was back then that teams didn't start rookie quarterbacks. And we forgot about T-Jack. Brad Childress played him, but Childress drafted him, so Childress was going to shove him down our throats. Rest in peace to T-Jack. But yeah, that was a Brad Childress draft. He moved up to draft him, as a matter of fact.
Yeah, and this just came to my mind. I know we both can't stand this team, but 52 is way too young for someone to pass. And
Larry Allen,
he was a Hall of Famer. And if you guys did not get a chance to watch him play live, go back and watch.
He was a beast.
Watch the film.
He was a beast.
So we are a Vikings channel, but we have to pay respects to
him and Larry Allen and John Randall had some epic battles when they played each other.
Yeah,
we did. They had some epic battles. But 52 is young. It's way too young.
Yeah, my dad turned 70. My dad just turned 76 today.
Yeah, see, I'll be 58 in October. So
yeah,
when somebody, at 52 is younger than me, we're in the same age bracket and stuff. But yeah, rest in peace to Larry Allen. It's just sad. I think he was on vacation too in Hawaii.
He was on vacation too. Yeah, he was not sick or anything. It was just sudden. So
yeah. But if you watched any of those Cowboy teams in the 90s, those that offensive line was their bread and butter. He was right there next to Eric Williams on one side, and they had Mark Tuinei and Nate Newton on the other side. So rest in peace to him. Yeah, Tommy Kramer led the country in passing. His rook 76. That's why we drafted him number 1. We were going to need a quarterback, so here comes Tommy Kramer. But yeah, and then we drafted Wade Wilson in 81. Wade didn't really play until 84. He started the last game of 83, but up until then, he had never played really much football. And Steve Dills. Steve Dills was with the team. We drafted him in 79, third round. He played a game in 80, started a game in 1980, beat the Washington Redskins. Started the season in 81. Got a separated shoulder on a Monday night game against the Raiders. Was done for the year. Played in 82, but didn't start any games. And then in 83, when Tommy Kramer tore up his knee, Steve Dills started the season. Steve Dills also, I believe, led the nation in passing his senior year, or was something like that. And he was also a teammate of Darren Nelson's at Stanford. But the Vikings traded him in 84 to the Rams. So, and then Rich Gannon was a free agent. So
yeah. So I mean, if you really think about it, there really has not been like a CJ Stroud situation for the Vikings.
No, there really hasn't. They've always went the veteran route. They really didn't. The only coach that would play the rookies was Childress. Everybody else would play the rookies when they had to, and Zimmer wanted to play Bridgewater because that was his choice.
Yeah.
Ponder just had to be there.
Well, Ponder. Now I know people don't like Ponder, But in his defense, he was not supposed to play that year. He
I
was
don't think
supposed
he
to.
should.
He
I
was
don't.
supposed to. He was supposed to sit the full year behind McNabb. I remember because Brad Childress brought McNabb in, and he was supposed to play all. He was supposed to play that whole season, and
Well,
then
that
after,
was the one that brought McNabb. Childress wanted McNabb,
yeah,
but Childress got fired, and so McNabb ended up signing with the Vikings anyway. And that was Leslie Frazier's first full year, but um, yeah, Childress had wanted him, and the team was moving on from Brett. So, and I think and T-Jack left also and went to Seattle. So, they needed a quarterback. Um, but he shouldn't have been drafted number one, period. I didn't think he was that good of a quarterback in college. But
well,
that whole class was not very good.
well, the whole thing about Christian Ponder was, remember, the Vikings had the Senior Bowl team. They were the coaching staff for the Senior Bowl,
Yeah.
and Christian Ponder lit it up at the Senior Bowl. And all we heard about was how smart he was.
Yeah, how smart. Yeah, don't get me started.
I'm just,
Yeah.
so I mean, so obviously Tarkington will probably be the best starting rookie because even though he didn't start the first game, he came in halfway through the first game and then played the rest.
Yeah,
So
I think he came in like the second quarter,
yeah, so he would definitely be number one on that list.
which is funny when you think about it because we know that Van Brocklin didn't like Tarkington and Van Brocklin didn't like rookies. So what's his name had to be playing pretty
I don't
bad
think
that.
Van Brockton liked anybody.
No, I don't think he did either. But I mean, what's his name had to be playing pretty bad. George Shaw had to be playing really bad
Yeah,
for Van Brocklin to yank him like that.
and
Um,
that's kind of how Tarkington was scrambling too
that's what he hated.
because he said, well, he hated, but also Tarkington didn't know the full playbook yet either.
No, so he had to improvise, and he
Yeah,
played behind a really bad offensive line. And this is before. Tingelhoff didn't show up till a year later, but the only one that stuck around was Grady Alderman, but the rest of the line was just garbage. And Fran said, he made a promise to himself. He was never just going to take a sack and go on to the next play. He was going to keep a play alive any way he could. And he was the first of what is now considered the athletic quarterback.
yeah, Tarkington would be really successful in today's NFL more than what he was back then.
Yeah, and folks, Tark didn't have a strong arm. Even when he was younger, he didn't have a strong arm. I think what he did was he had rotator cuff surgery. He was a baseball player too at Georgia, and I think he ended up doing something. He was a pitcher, and he had a shoulder injury or rotator cuff. So he was done for baseball, but he could still play football. He didn't have the strongest arm. And that was real obvious when he got older. But even when he was
Yeah,
young, he didn't have the strongest arm. But yeah, so Tarkington, I guess, would be the only one. He'd be the only rookie that started, we could actually say, from day one because he came in. He didn't start,
right.
but he came in.
And
Um,
then probably the guy who probably started the next most games as a rookie would probably be Bridgewater.
yes. Yeah, Bridgewater started what he came in the third game, and Ponder was like the fifth or sixth game. Ponder's first game was against the Packers in 2011, in 2011. So, but
Yeah,
yeah,
I know. I know that McNabb was throwing those worm burners, as they say.
right. And so yeah, so we'll see what happens with JJ.
So it doesn't. The Vikings lost 39-10. Ponder came in and completed 9 to 17 passes for 99 yards. It was announced on Tuesday, October 18th, that he made his first start against the Packers.
Oh, was that the Bears game the week before? The
Uh,
39-10, was that the Bears?
it doesn't say. Just let me see. Let me double check. That's just like a quick hitter on, like when you go on Google, it brings like a quick paragraph.
Yeah.
Let's see.
That's got to be. I think that was the Sunday night game against the Bears, where literally McNabb got run
Yeah.
out of the field. It was the Bears.
Following a disaster start to the season, Vikings under McNabb, Ponder made the NFL debut against the Bears in the fourth quarter.
Yep. Okay.
The games with the Vikings were blown out 39-10. It was announced on Tuesday the next week that he will start against Green Bay, replacing McNabb as a starter. On Ponder's first career pass attempted as a starter, he hit Michael Jenkins on a 72-yard play action pass. 2 plays later, he threw his first career touchdown to the legend Viante Shenko. He's not a legend because of football. I'll just say that.
Mm-hmm.
And the Vikings were 1-5 at
Yeah.
that time, and they beat the undefeated Packers. No, it says they gave the undefeated Packers a close game. They lost 27-33.
Yeah, it was close until the final minute.
Right.
We had no defense that year. That team was garbage. It
Well, they
was.
pondered to go on that run to get him into the playoffs, so the next year.
Yeah, and you honestly have to say, what would they have done if he played that playoff game? Because a week before, he played his best game probably of his career against the Packers. So, yeah, and I'll tell you what, Fran was the precursor to the Bobby Douglases, to the Staubachs, to most of your running quarterbacks, your Cunningham.
Yeah, but T-Bass, I'm not so sure about that. Douglas still could not throw.
Oh, he was a terrible thrower.
He would be more of a Taysom Hill.
Yeah. Yeah, he was terrible. He could not throw. And he was a left-hander too. That's what made it even worse. Was the ball came down in a funny way when he threw it, and he wasn't accurate either. Not accurately at all.
I'll tell you, Bass, just think about the quarterback throwing the ball to a 15-yard route. Ball lands 10 yards and it burns the rubber. That's why it's called a worm burner. That was on McNabb's 10 yards.
That was down to Nev's last year too.
Yeah.
That was his last year in the NFL. He was washed. He was washed when we got him. Keep in mind though, and I always tell people this, remember, 2011 is a year that they had the lockout. So when we signed McNabb, he did not have any kind of mini camp. He did not have anything like that to work with the offense. They didn't sign him till training camp when the CBA went through. So he should have had OTAs and all that stuff. He didn't have any of that, and he probably needed it more than anybody.
Well, he probably should have been working on it anyway.
It should have been. I think he was in for the paycheck, and he was done after that. Yeah, he was done.
Well, because nowadays you can, but back then you couldn't make the same money off the field that you made on the field. Today, in today's society, you can make something. Like Gronkowski didn't even touch his paycheck from the NFL. He lived off his endorsement money.
Yeah, and some of them go through whatever money they have, like
the 30 for 30 broke. If you guys have not watched it, you guys need to watch it. It's amazing.
Like AP, AP went through all of his.
It's amazing how these guys, and not all of them go broke because the money gets stolen from them. They just mismanage their money.
No, they trust the wrong people.
Yeah,
they trust the wrong people. That's the problem. So, yeah, and then after Ponder, we Zimmer drafts Teddy in, what was it, 2014?
I think it was 15.
Was it 15? What year did they draft Barr? That was 2014, right?
Yeah, let me. I think Teddy Bridgewater was because didn't they draft? They drafted two or three people in that same time. They drafted Teddy
Well,
in the first
2013
round,
is when they drafted Sharif, Cordero, and Xavier.
right? And then a couple years later, they had two first picks because they traded up to get Bridgewater in the second round.
That was 2014. 2015 was who was it in 2015? Yeah, because Zimmer's first year here was 2014, and he had Barr. Yeah, he had Barr.
2014 and 2017, he played for Minnesota.
Yep. Who did we draft in 2015?
So that had to be.
Was that Trey Waynes?
That might have been. Was that the Trey Waynes? Let me see.
I think that was Trey Waynes. Yeah.
Okay, let's see. Trey Waynes was the first round.
Okay.
Kendricks,
Okay. Yeah, Kendricks.
Danielle Hunter,
Okay.
Stephon Diggs. Those are the ones that made the team.
Okay.
Well, T.J. Clemens made it. T.J. Clemens made the team, but he was awful.
And I give TJ a pass because first of all, they knew when they drafted him he was a converted defensive lineman, and then you put him out there. Luckily he had Mike Harris. He had Mike Harris next to him. That helped, but he should have had help there anyway with an extra tight end. If they were smart, they would have did that. When you leave him alone on an island, somebody like that, they're going to get dominated, and he did. You know.
I mean, so this is the highest ever pick for a quarterback for the Vikings as well. Is JJ. So they've never picked in the top 10 before. So this
No.
was the first time they ever picked a quarterback in the top 10 because Culpepper was 11 before that, and Ponder was 12.
And put it this way, if
And
they,
Kramer was what, 14, 15?
I mean, when you think about it, this is our first pick in the top 10 in how many years?
Yeah.
That tells you how good we've been.
Peterson was number 7.
Peterson was 7.
So, other than a trade, I don't know if they've had a top 10 pick after Peterson until they had.
Dante was 11.
Yeah.
Adrian was 6, 7. Darren Nelson. What was Darren Nelson? 8th? 9th? No. Because even when we were like finishing 7 and 9, we were still out of the top 10. He might have been 11th or 12th. But he was a first running back taken. I remember that much. And that was in 82. So it's hard to say.
All right. So let's see how many. So Yuri was 1.
Yeah, Yuri was number 1.
All right. So for the first years in the 60s, they picked in the top 10 a lot. Yuri was 1. Dunaway was 3rd overall.
Okay.
Eller was the 6th.
Okay.
Snow was 8. Shea was 7th. Clinton Jones was 2. Washington was 8.
Okay.
Alan Page was 15. Those three were taken the same year. Ron Yeri was 1.
Okay.
Tommy Mason was 1 as well. So from 61 to 69, they had their pick except for one in the first round was top 10. They did not have another top 10 pick until 1980. That was Doug Martin.
What was Doug Martin, number 9?
Actually, no, sorry. Jeff Seaman was 10. That's because they're
Oh, in
wrong.
72?
Yeah.
Okay.
So from 72 to 80, Doug Martin was 9. They didn't have a pick in 81. Then Darren Nelson was 82. And then they didn't have another. And then 85, they had number 4 pick.
What number was Nelson?
Nelson was 9. It was 7 overall.
He was 7?
Yeah.
Okay, he was the first running back taken too. He was taken ahead of Marcus Allen.
Yeah. And then Dolman was taken 4th overall.
Dolman was 4th.
And then from 85 to 2002, they did not have a top 10 pick.
Okay.
They had 2 11s, but they did not have a top 10.
Okay.
And then that was Bryant McKinney.
Okay.
And then next year it was Kevin Williams was taken at 9, but he was supposed to be 7.
Right, but he's still top 10.
Right. And then 2005, 7 overall was Williamson.
Oh, jeez.
Then Peterson was 7.
Okay.
Matt Khalil was 4.
Oh, Khalil, that's right. We forget about Khalil.
Yeah. So since Adrian Peterson, the Vikings have picked in the top 10 twice.
Okay.
Matt Khalil and JJ. Matt Khalil, Anthony Barr, and JJ. That's it.
Okay. All right.
Everything else is 22, 18. Trey Waynes was 11. So,
Yeah, usually you're either 500 or you made the playoffs, depending.
Yeah.
That's usually what it means. But yeah, that says something about the team that they're not in the top 10 all the damn time.
But this goes back to show that the most successful team without winning at Super Bowl.
Yeah, they got one.
It's a championship because we have a championship, but a Super Bowl.
They got one of the best winning percentages in the league, but they just ain't got the Super Bowls.
Yeah,
that's the problem.
But so they really don't. I mean, so you have Culpepper, who didn't play his rookie year. So if you look at the top 5 quarterbacks, Culpepper didn't really play his rookie year.
Culpepper didn't play at all his rookie year.
Tarkington, was pretty much the only one who played his rookie year.
Mm-hmm.
And then probably Kramer, but he sat 2 years.
Kramer sat 2 years.
So the top 3 quarterbacks, I mean, they didn't play.
Kramer would have played more in 78 if he hadn't suffered that concussion that everybody literally thought he was dead when he hit the ground. But the only and Bud didn't play rookies, so no guarantee that Kramer would have been a starter anyway. That's why Bob Lee started the playoffs in 77.
Do they win if Kramer plays?
No. Kramer, okay, after that San Francisco game where he comes back, right? They threw him into the fire. They went out to Oakland and played the Raiders the next week. They threw him right into the line of fire, and he couldn't handle it at the time. He could not handle it.
Did he drink before the game?
Probably.
Because if he didn't, then that's why he couldn't handle it.
No, he was a rookie. He was an alcoholic. He couldn't handle it. He could not handle it. And he was kind of cocky too. A lot of the older players thought he was kind of an arrogant SOB, but he was
young with how bad Ponder played his rookie year. It was still better than what Donovan McNabb brought us, which is saying a lot.
Yeah. I mean the McNabb thing was just a debacle. We shouldn't have had him, but he ended up coming back. He came up here, and and it was after Childress, so they were still trying to figure out the team. And Leslie Frazier inherited what had turned into a really old team. They turned into an older team.
Yeah, pretty fast.
Yeah. So the only rookie that has done anything as a quarterback with the Vikings is Tarkenton. The only one.
Which is saying something, because
Bridgewater,
the Vikings have been around since '61.
yeah, and it's still Tarkenton after all these years. It's been 65 years of Viking football, and it's still Tarkenton. That tells you a little bit about the franchise. Teddy had his moments where he looked good, but you could tell that they were building a defense too. It wasn't
You
Teddy.
can blame Blair Walsh for that one.
Yeah, the next year you can blame Blair Walsh.
And then Tony and I know how Teddy got hurt.
Yeah.
There's people already. Well, there's people who love this player, and there's people who don't like this player. I imagine if the people who don't like this player found out, it would be even more for them.
Oh, how he got hurt?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it was pretty bad. Pretty bad. The fact when they made the big deal about him coming back, now I know why. Makes a whole hell of a lot of sense.
Yeah. I said that earlier. Excuse me. I said that earlier. Christian Ponder probably would not have been good anyway.
Ponder was going to suck anyway.
But he got thrust in before he was supposed to.
Well,
so I don't 100% blame Ponder for how bad he was.
I don't blame Ponder, but they made him the number one draft choice. They shouldn't have.
That's not his fault though.
No, but you got to be ready to play.
I mean, Ponder should have been a second round pick.
He should have been a free agent.
I think they panicked because I think they wanted Locker, and Tennessee took Locker.
Actually, Locker was my choice. I wanted Locker,
but he was even. See, here's the thing though. He had concussions. Would he have been able to? I mean, how good could he have been if he didn't have concussions? That's another thing.
No, he retired because of it.
Yeah. So.
Well, and here's another thing too. That whole class of quarterbacks stunk. They were bad.
Yeah.
2011 was terrible.
Was considered one of the worst QB drafts of all time.
Yeah. I kind of had a vibe off of this past draft class that I was hoping it does. I'm hoping it does not become a 2011 draft class for QBs.
Well, I don't think any quarterback from the 2011 draft did well, right?
None of them did. None of the number ones did, I don't think. None of them did. Yeah, 2021 wasn't that good either.
So I wonder if any of them would see Cam. Well, no, one of them did have a good career.
Which one?
Cam Newton.
Oh, yeah.
And then Blaine Gabbert was taken second. Ryan Mallett.
Mallett's out of the league.
Colin Kaepernick, Christian Ponder. Andy Dalton was serviceable. Jake Locker. So I don't think these are in order they were taken because Jake Locker was taken before.
The only one I liked out of that.
Pat Devlin, who also played for the Vikings.
Who?
Pat Devlin from Penn State. I think he was a spring training, but a preseason invite from Minnesota. Greg McElroy, the Alabama quarterback.
Yeah, he didn't make it.
Tyrod Taylor, who's still in the league.
Tyrod's still in the league.
Ricky Senstill from Iowa. Taylor Potts. Scott Tolzien.
He was a Packer.
Josh Portis, TJ Yates. Adam Weber.
Gophers? Minnesota.
Nathan Enderle. Yeah. So those were the guys taken in the 2011 draft. So, a couple of them, 2 or 3 of them. Tyrod Taylor's still hanging around. So, I mean, a couple of them. Hopefully, if this draft class turns out to be that one, hopefully JJ is Cam Newton.
I think I want to say JG's probably got the most upside because he's got the best situation.
T-Bass, I disagree. It's a 27-yard field goal. Make the fucking kick.
Yeah, that's all you got to do is kick a goddamn football. If you can't make a 27-yard field goal, get the hell off the field.
I can make a 27-yard field goal.
Jeez, you can find one of the fat offensive linemen that could probably kick a 27-yard field goal.
Yeah. As much as I like Peterson, don't get me wrong. And everybody talked about, he shakes your hand. How? If your hands are that strong, why the hell did he fumble?
Peterson only fumbled one time in that game. He fumbled 3 times in the championship game against the Saints, but he only fumbled. He fumbled one time in that freezing cold game.
Yeah, I can see that Tyrod didn't get a fair shake.
Tyrod's done enough, though. He's done enough to stay employed, so I give him credit there.
Hey, I mean, what's his Chase Daniels? I mean, how long was his career as a backup?
Forever.
And being a backup is one of the best jobs in the world, especially if you're behind a guy who never gets hurt.
Yeah. Shaq, he tied for 50-yarders his rookie year, and he didn't do anything after his rookie year.
Yeah.
He became erratic as all hell. So,
yeah.
And kickers will do that. They're not they're not consistent. Some are, some aren't.
And most of them are head cases.
And they're head cases. So,
yeah, the only kicker, my high school kicker, was also he was the backup wide receiver. So at least he knew how to play.
Our kicker in high school was our fullback.
Well, before we actually had my freshman year, we had a girl kicking our extra points. So it's from the soccer team, but the coach wouldn't let her do kickoffs.
Right.
She would get destroyed.
Well, yeah, because they got a bullseye on her, they're going to hit her.
Yeah, and she wasn't very big.
Right, they're going to hit her.
So our corner did kickoffs. So it was kind of funny seeing a guy who runs like a 4.3 kicking off. But hey,
yeah.
But, so I think Jaron Hall, he did start.
Yeah, and promptly got knocked out.
So, and
he looked promising too. I ain't gonna lie. He looked like he might do.
Got a better arm than the other 2 guys who played, Dobbs and Mullins.
Yeah. So we'll see. It's this year. They're gonna roll with Darnold, and I'm fine with it. If the wheels come off, then yeah, put JJ in there. But if you're having success with Darnold, just leave him in there. Just leave him in there. No, T-Bass, I agree with you. When you fumble 3 times in the red zone, you shouldn't even be on the field. I don't care who you are. That would have got – put it this way. If Bud Grant was coaching that Viking team, AP would have been benched after the second fumble. So, yes, George, we had Fuaber Baez, the only kicker to ever get an unsportsmanlike conduct call on him, a personal foul call. The only one that I can remember.
Come here, give me a kissy.
No, you don't see me.
You don't be on camera?
I don't want to be on camera. I'm too cute to be on camera.
You're too cute to be on camera?
Yeah.
Gonna charge you.
Yeah.
Cam girls.
Exactly. You can't afford me. I'm a high price hoe.
You're a high price hoe?
Yeah, I don't know if Hall's even going to make the roster.
I think
they still got Mullins, right?
Yes.
You know what?
They have 5 quarterbacks in camp right now.
I get rid of Mullins.
I think they want Hall on the practice squad.
Good luck with that. You're gonna have to slide him through waivers first, and somebody's probably gonna grab him. There's a lot of quarterback starved teams out there that would grab him. Hell, Kellen Mond still has a job, I think.
No, he got cut by the Saints.
Mond got cut?
Yeah, when they drafted Rattler, they cut him.
Well, that's the end of his career, unless he goes to Canada or
XFL probably.
UFL. Yeah.
Because he's UFL. He's like in Texas. People still talk about him. So, because he went to high school in Texas.
Oh yeah, so they're going to be.
And then he played at Texas A&M. So
he might end up playing for the San Antonio Brahmas. You know.
But here's the thing, though.
I don't know if anybody wants Mullins.
Well, here's the thing, though. Mullins has been with how many years he's been with Minnesota since KLC's been the head coach. He knows the offense.
He knows the offense.
So I think that might be the Sean Marion thing. Like he knows the offense to keep him around because he knows the offense.
Well, now Mannion was around because he wasn't a threat to Kirk.
Well, I understand. Yeah, I mean, I get that too.
And Mannion being here had nothing to do with him knowing the playbook. It had everything with him not being a threat to Kirk Cousins. Bottom line. That's all. That's the only reason Mannion was here.
But if it's a good gig, I guess.
Yeah, a good gig if you can get it. I mean, never have to play. You carry around somebody else's friggin' books. I mean, shit.
All right, so that's pretty much it. So as far as vintage go, that's probably our shortest show ever.
Well, yeah, because when it comes to the quarterbacks, it's just Tarkenton and everybody else had to wait. Rookies just never played.
Yeah. So we could talk about modern, since we're not doing a show this Friday. We can talk what's happening now. I know it's not Viking related, but I saw Sarah talking about it earlier. Did you see the Micah Parsons comments about Zimmer?
I sure did. That ain't gonna
work. Zimmer's never had a Micah. Well, Micah, you've never had a Zimmer.
Micah, you've never had a Zimmer. Be prepared now. Micah Parsons will be blitzing the A gaps.
Oh, I forgot to tell you guys, there's a new 0-0 for Minnesota. Her name's Inkiri. She's very agile. She's fleet of foot.
She sleeps a lot.
But yeah, that's going to be interesting.
If he's looking at another payday too. The Cowboys, Jerry Jones is going to have to pay a lot of players.
Yeah,
he's going to have to pay a lot of players. I think Jerry's getting. I think it's time for Stephen Jones to take over the team because Jerry's kind of getting senile. But where's he? I mean, how much money are you gonna give CeeDee Lamb?
Some people are saying that he's gonna give more than JJ. I don't think so.
He better not. No, he better not.
You know. And the same thing with what's his name? There's another receiver who's looking for money too. Not Ayuk, but there's somebody else who wants money, and they're talking.
Oh, it's plays in Miami, doesn't he?
Well, they're saying that Tyreek Hill wants a new contract, but he's a free agent after this year, so we'll see. But
yeah, they want him to return picks, and he won't do it.
Yeah,
Waddle got paid,
but he got paid less.
Yeah, he got paid less.
I don't think Shedeur is going to. If Shedeur Sanders was not Deion's son, nobody would be saying anything about it.
I wouldn't be talking about him.
Plain and simple. He's Deion's son. That's the only reason anybody's talking about him.
Well, here's
now the other guy they got playing, Travis Hunter. I think that's his name. Now he actually is legit, but I don't think Shedeur Sanders is that good.
And the problem with Shedeur is going to have an even bigger problem too, because Deion's going to be dictating where he goes. And there's going to be quite a few teams out there, no matter how good that player is, You're not going to dictate to us if we can take him or not.
Yes, sir. He has 3 years left in his contract, but his final 2 years are voidable. Like if the Dolphins want to release.
So he wants to renegotiate, most likely. Most likely he wants to renegotiate. Who's the other? Is it yeah, there was a receiver that's in the news that wants to get paid now too, besides Ayuk.
Well, CD Lamb, but
CeeDee
there's somebody
Lamb.
else too.
But Ayuk might get traded. They've talked about there's rumors that he might get traded. Oh, T. Higgins.
Yeah, T. Higgins. Yeah. T. Bass. CD Lamb has been in the league a year longer, I think.
Then JJ?
Yeah. I saw the stats. JJ only played 7 games last year, and his stats were almost the same as CD Lamb's.
And CeeDee Lamb, I think, played every game.
Uh-huh. So I don't know. I don't know, Shaq. I don't. I just, from what I've seen from Shador, I don't see it.
He might be, and he probably is a smart QB. You got to see how he might. You know what? He might play better if he's not around his dad.
Yeah.
That's another thing too. He might play a hell of a lot better if he's not around his dad, and if his dad isn't in his ear constantly. I mean, he gets.
Well, here's the thing about the Jets deal. You notice it's 4 years.
Yeah.
So that means that when JJ is making all that, when Jets is making all that money, our quarterback is on his rookie contract. So that leaves the 5th year open for McCarthy to get his extension if he pans out. And if he doesn't pan out, what are you missing? You're paying the best wide receiver of football money, but the quarterback you don't have to worry about because he's on his rookie contract.
Next one to pay is probably Darisaw.
Yeah.
And they've left enough room next year. And keep remember, people, the cap goes up every year. So JJ's cap hits are not going to hurt as much as what's his name's did. And he doesn't have, and his contract is not fully guaranteed. That's another thing too.
Well, he had 110 million of the 140 guarantee, but he got $88 million at signing.
So it's upon signing, yeah.
Yeah.
So he's not killing us financially.
And they're going to push that out over the years.
Right.
So that's probably, going to be less of a hit. So.
Oh, and by the way, for all those Viking fans that were like, oh, well, Jefferson's not going to sign because Kirk's not here. Do me a favor. Shut the fuck up.
I don't think Jets wanted a 10-year contract.
No. If this team looks like garbage while he's playing, if this team falls apart, he's gonna want out. So, and he'll be what, 28 at the end of his contract? He won't even be 30.
He's 24 right now.
Yeah. So I mean, oh, that's right. Does he still have that paternity suit against him? JJ?
I don't know.
I heard something about that last year, but I didn't hear anything more about it. I did hear something about that. Put up what Sally McCarthy hasn't put up his last post. This is interesting. If you've got Penix taking first team reps with the Falcons, okay. That Kirk era is going to be short-lived. I'm hearing rumblings that it's going to be short-lived.
So CD Lamb and Justin Jefferson were both taken in 2020.
Okay.
So Jefferson has 392 receptions. CeeDee Lamb has 395. Uh, CeeDee Lamb has 32 touchdowns. Justin Jefferson has 30 touchdowns.
How many
Uh,
games has CD missed?
Let me see here. Let me see. Missed one game in his pro career.
He's missed one.
Mm-hmm. That's why I'm saying the comparison between Lamb and JJ is not really that good.
Jeez.
So
One game.
they were drafted the same year. CeeDee Lamb has only missed one game, and he has 3 more receptions than JJ. He has less yards than JJ. CeeDee Lamb has 5,100 yards. Jefferson has 5,899. His career average for CeeDee Lamb is 13 yards. Justin Jefferson's is 15 yards.
Jeez.
32 touchdowns to JJ's 30 touchdowns. Justin Jefferson is the only guy to average. Was it 9 something? He's the only guy. He's got like the best averages in his career so far of any quarterback.
What is JJ making a year though?
Well, right now his contract for this year, because this year was not included in his new contract. He's making 19 million this year.
So he's going to play out his rookie deal.
Yeah,
and then he's going to get okay.
Because the contract is actually a 5-year contract. Is what Tom Pelissero said. It's a 5-year contract, so it's this year, and then the 4 years added on.
So technically, is he making 40 mil next year?
35.5, 35.9 or something like that.
35.9.
Yeah.
CeeDee Lamb kind of wants between 32 and 35. 33 sounds like a good number for CeeDee Lamb.
Yeah.
You know.
I'm not saying CeeDee Lamb is not going to get paid.
He's going to get paid.
But when you compare that, when you look at the stats, and JJ has more weapons around him than CeeDee Lamb. CeeDee Lamb is the offense in Dallas, and he still has better numbers.
Yeah.
So.
And he had Dak. Yeah, Dak Prescott. So, Dak did get hurt though.
Yeah, but look at Cousins got hurt too last year. I mean, he had Mullins throwing him the ball, Dobbs throwing him the ball.
Yeah, he had Mullins forcing balls to him. Would have got him trained. So. Yeah, it doesn't look like the Cowboys are going to re-sign Dak either. So they're going to be looking for a quarterback also. I think they're going to be looking for a head coach and a quarterback in Dallas.
Yeah.
Zimmer is the defensive coordinator, but you got to ask yourself, would anybody want to take that head coaching job in Dallas when you've got Jerry Jones looking over your shoulder?
Well, I think as long as Jerry Jones is running it, no. I think when Steven takes over, maybe.
Steven should take over.
But think about it, though. That other than the Packers head coaching job, what other job are you more pressure under?
Any of the LA jobs.
Do they really care about LA, though?
Any of the LA and New York jobs, the big market jobs.
New York jobs, yes. But do they really care about pro football in LA?
They do, since they won the Super Bowl.
I mean, because when you go to a Rams game and a Chargers game, it's still most of the other team's colors.
Well, the Rams
less so the Rams, but still.
The Chargers are the misfits.
Yeah.
The Chargers
go back to San Diego. They need to go back to San Diego.
That's what happens when you let Jerry Jones talk you into you're paying rent to an NFL team. I don't know what the hell the Chargers were thinking. I do not know what they were thinking. Yeah, it's the New York teams. Any of the big markets, especially New York, you're going to be under a microscope. You know. Yeah, that's a good question, especially since now JJ's going to own him. If JJ don't own him, Jordan Addison's going to own him. So I don't
Also,
think Jair's that good, but
here's another thing. Why do people just assume that the Bears are going to be good? I mean, their defense is okay. I get it, yeah. But why do people just assume that Caleb Williams is just going to come in and wreck the league?
I think he's going to have his moments. I really do.
But why do people? But all of a sudden, they're uh, everybody's talking about it. It's a 3-team race between the Bears, the Packers, and the Lions. But the Vikings and the Vikings and Bears would have had the same record last year.
I am so sick of hearing about the goddamn Lions.
Right, but listen, the Vikings and the Bears had the same record last year. Okay,
right.
I know every year is different, but to sit there and say that, oh yeah, well the Bears signed this guy, the Bears signed, well they signed, they traded for a guy and signed a guy.
Here, but, you know what, and you know why they're off the Viking bandwagon is because of all things. Sarah brought this up. We don't have Kirk Cousins, so we're gonna suck. But when we had Kirk Cousins, we still sucked. So national media can't make up their mind. If Kirk was this great quarterback that they say he is, we'd have did a lot more with him. Now Atlanta is the media darling.
Yeah.
And Atlanta's going to have problems themselves. Yeah. You already got a problem with him and Penix.
Shaq, how many plays has Aduzze played in the NFL? Keenan Allen's always hurt.
Keenan Allen's going to be hurt by the 8th game.
Yeah.
DJ Moore is probably the only one that's going to be.
And they had DJ Moore last year.
Right.
And is DJ Moore as good as Justin Jefferson? No.
And Odunze, we don't know. He's a rookie.
So that's what I'm talking about. People just assume that they have all these weapons and they're just going to be good.
And I'm going to tell you something. They're playing it. When Chicago weather hits, it's a motherfucker. Trust me, we get the same damn weather up here. Caleb Williams, once the weather changes, he's got to prove he can play. And that field gets really bad at Soldier Field. The field. I'm hungry. That's why I'm thinking food. I'm gonna go make a pizza as soon as I'm off the air here. But the field gets really bad late in the year in Chicago. So we'll see what happens. I'm not the biggest Eberflus fan. I don't know how Eberflus keeps his job, but that could be the downfall. Georgia Lions got a good O-line. They do have a good O-line, but I'm not putting them on a pedestal. I'm just not. It's the Lions, Until they're consistently good, then I'll give them credit. But
see, yeah, here's the thing, though. You can say this player is good. A lot of people say, "Oh, I know this guy's going to be good. That's why they get drafted." You never know with draft pick. I'm not saying Aduzze is not going to be good. I'm not saying that. But the fact that he has not taken a snap and people are already talking like he's a Pro Bowler, that's the issue I have.
There's another thing too. There were moments in college where I looked at Caleb and I'm like, yeah, he ain't gonna make it. He might have the physical traits, he might have all that. I don't know if he's got the brain. Right. It's hard to say. But we'll see what happens.
We don't know. Caleb Williams was the first pick. How many first overall quarterbacks have stunk up the place? He may have all the talent in the world. Ryan Leaf had all the talent in the world.
Oh God, that train wreck.
So, Zach Allen had all the talent in the world. So we don't know. The one thing I always have an issue is, why is it always the best case scenario for every team when the national media jabronis are talking? Why is it always the best case scenario for all other teams But with the Vikings, it's the worst case scenario.
Because Minnesota's still flyover country.
You know, I'm just saying, Caleb. I'm not saying Caleb can't be the quarterback the Bears wants him to be. Let's just have him take a snap. Let's have him play some games before we say the Bears.
Let's have him get rattled by an NFL defense. Let's have him get blitzed by a linebacker coming off the court. Guess what? Dallas Turner might hit him a few times this year, and he might not like it.
So I'm just saying, let's just have him play some before we anoint the Bears as a if you look at the Super Bowl odds, the Bears are way up there, and the Vikings are one. There's only like 4 teams below the Bears, below the Vikings. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, that's what they're saying, Sarah. Since we lost Daniil, our defense is going to be terrible. Yep, we lost Daniil.
I don't know how people can say that. It's weird because you have some guys. All I'll say is those who know, and those are kind of the guys I lean towards too. When you have a guy who is a defensive guy, played in the NFL for more than 10 years, played for the Patriots, played in that Flores defense, and he says that the Vikings defense is going to be better because Flores has his guys, I will definitely lean more towards that than some idiot who never played and just thinks about what's going to happen.
And most of you people, they just look at
right, because those who know.
Yeah. And unfortunately, with the way rules are, you can't play defense like you used to be able to play defense. So guess what? These rookie wide receivers can run across the middle all they want without fear of getting laid out. So, if this was back in the day.
But again, Shaq, I understand that. And I completely understand them not believing in Sam Darnold. I get it.
But here's the thing. Here's another thing, too. This is the media.
At least Darnold has snaps in the NFL.
Here's the thing, though. This is where the media contradicts themselves. They call KOC this offensive guru, this quarterback whisperer, and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Why can't he turn around Darnold? It ain't like Darnold's had successful coaches where he's been.
The Panthers are a dumpster fire. They still are.
The Jets are a dumpster fire.
And the Jets have been a dumpster fire since Tony and I were kids.
Yeah. They were actually a dumpster fire with Namath. After they won the Super Bowl, they were a dumpster fire.
Yeah. They had one great year. That was it.
It's the thing with the media, you really have to take the media with a grain of salt, especially when it comes to Minnesota sports. They don't take us serious. And if we are contending, it's a fluke. And, it's just, if you know the game of football, if you watch these teams and players and stuff, everybody starts 0-0. There is no reason Minnesota can't win the NFC North. It's a different year. We don't know what Detroit's going to do. Detroit's not going to be the same team. Every team's going to be different. Minnesota's going to be completely different because Minnesota's got like a whole new team damn near.
I think if Jordan Love plays half of what he played like last year, I think the Packers win the division.
Yeah, but here's another problem though. What about Gimpy? Josh Jacobs. I call him Gimpy. He's already
definitely made a mistake getting rid of Josh Jacobs.
He's already pulled a hammy.
and letting Aaron Jones go. They already made that mistake.
Yeah, I mean, that's the whole thing. It's like we don't know. And injuries play a big part. Injuries. What's up, JDT? Injuries play a big part. So we'll have to see what happens. Hopefully we don't have a lot of, and I said barring major injuries, I still say 10-7, 11-6. And
they're definitely not going to be 3-14, what Sports Illustrated said they were going to be.
Wait a minute, isn't Sports Illustrated out of publication?
But
I thought Sports Illustrated was like a defunct magazine. I thought they went out of business.
From what I understand, the swimsuit issue is like the only thing that really sells anymore.
Yeah, and I lost interest in that one too.
But well, when they put a man on the cover, I'm sorry. I'm all for equality. I'm all for all that. But the swimsuit magazine has been your top seller since you came out with it 50 years ago, and you're gonna put that on the cover when that's not what who your audience is, and that's what was the worst selling one of all time. I'm just saying. I'm not. To each your own. Do what you want to do, whatever like that. But that's the reason why the mag it did not sell.
Right.
I'm just but it's just it's. They're not the only ones who are saying they're going to be bad. They're not other people aren't saying they're going to be 3-14. But other people are saying they're going to be bad.
Where the hell did they get 3-14?
Because of the way Sam Darnold played in Carolina and in the Jets. But I'm sorry. Having Justin Jefferson as your top receiver is good.
Who is the offensive genius in Carolina? Who's the offensive genius with the Jets? Nobody.
Yeah.
And this is what I'm saying. The press is talking out of both sides of their mouth.
Yeah.
Sarah brought this up too. You say one thing, you give KLC all this credit that he's this innovative offensive coach, but then you turn around and say Sam Darnold's going to suck because he's going to be because of what he did before he got to Minnesota. Come on,
Right.
Which is it?
I can see from the comments. I think some people are misunderstanding what I'm saying. I'm not saying the Vikings don't have the possibility of being the worst team in the division. They do. My issue is that people automatically just think the Bears, who were 7-10 as well, are just going to be so much better without proven players. That's my issue.
Right. And here's the thing too. Let's get off. I'm just going to be perfectly blunt here. They should have the warning up here. Now the press is basically sucking Kirk Cousins' dick for some reason. And it's the same guy that for years they said will not win you a Super Bowl. Now all of a sudden he's going to take the Falcons to a Super Bowl? Really? Get the fuck out of here. Oh, there it is.
Yeah, I'll put it up.
I mean, get the fuck out of here. The Kirk Cousins that Atlanta is getting is the same Kirk Cousins we had, but he's broke down now. He is broke down. And now he's looking over his shoulder because he's worried that Michael Penix is going to take his fucking job.
Right. And I understand we lost to Neil Hunter too. I get that. But the Neil Hunter is 30.
He's 30 years old. He's getting older. He's been hurt a couple of times. He wasn't getting to the quarterback like he used to.
No, and they signed Grenard.
Right. So you got Grenard. You got Van Ginkel's hurt. You got Grenard.
He was hurt when they signed him, though.
Right. You've also got the kid from UCLA. I forgot his name. Murphy. Pace. You've got Cashman.
Yep.
You've got young corners that are probably, Blackman's already playing with the ones.
Sirius XM radio. I listen to that going back and forth to work and when I'm driving around. Jim Miller and Pat Kerwin.
Okay.
They do a show called Moving the Chains.
Mm-hmm.
What they do every offseason is they go team by team and then they rank the positions by number. So if your defensive backfield has 25, 30 starts, it's like a number 4. If they have over 300 tackles, it's like a number 7 or something like that. And they go by whatever. So that, and then they base their records when they do the record position off the numbers that they did for the position. So they did the Vikings secondary. They gave the Vikings secondary a 17. The only other team that had a 17 was the Bears.
Is that good or bad?
What's the highest number? 17 is the highest number.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and the Lions got a 12.
And
the reason why the Vikings got a 17, and they didn't even mention they didn't even mention Lewis Cine. So this is everybody else but Lewis Cine.
Would you mention Lewis Cine?
But basically, what they're saying is that Griffin and Blackman are going to be the starters on the outside.
That's what I'm thinking.
Murphy's in the corner, is in the slot.
Murphy's your nickel.
They said that Griffin was the weakest of the three starters.
Really?
Yeah. And then you have Booth as the backup, right? Yeah, Caleb Evans as the backup, and they have
you still got you've got Jay Ward also.
Right. When they mentioned and so they're like, when they look at total starts of your career, they look at total tackles, they look at pass breakups. When you really break down the Vikings secondary, it's not as bad as everybody says it is.
We need a pass rush though to help that young secondary.
Right. Well, they're doing the linebackers this week. And Tennessee, I think, got a 3. They have mostly rookies.
Tennessee is a dumpster fire.
So that was the last team I heard today. But yeah, so they're pretty high on the Vikings. And they were not Pat Kerwin and Jim Miller. Jim Miller, of course, played for the Bears. So
he was a Bear, yeah. He was a Bear.
He calls the Bears the beloved. I get it.
Mm-hmm.
But he's still fair. Those two, when you consider all the national media, those two were the two who said the Vikings can win with Kirk Cousins as their quarterback. So when they say Kirk Cousins goes to the Falcons and they talk about the Falcons being good because of Kirk Cousins, you can't criticize them because they said he was good when he played for the Vikings. But all these other people, Kirk Cousins can't win in prime time. He can't win the big game. He can't do this. Because he played for Minnesota. Now that he plays for Falcons and they're calling the Falcons Super Bowl contender because they got Cousins, those people you can fucking say you're why should we believe anything you say?
That's the thing. It's like all of a sudden now Kirk is a Super Bowl quarterback.
Yeah. People love KOC. They love him.
I'm going to be honest with you. KOC has a lot to prove to me. If he is gonna be that coach that we can put faith in, he's got to prove it this year, and he's got to prove it by not having coaching meltdowns and coaching a consistent game. Coach for 4 quarters. His coaching leaves a lot to be desired. His play calling has me scratching my head at times. This year, he's got to run the ball, and what I'm hearing, Doogie Wilson, local reporter, said, yeah, he does plan to run the ball this year, more than he did last year. They're still going to throw the ball, but they are going to run it. Oh, my, yeah, JDT, they've got the Falcons winning the NFC. Ain't that a joke? Don't let my girl hear that, but yeah. But they got to run the ball. And KLC's got to stick with the run. So, and like I tell a lot of people this year, the one part of the game that could become big for all the NFL teams is special teams. You're right, Shaq. He did say he was going to run last year.
Well, maybe Alexander Madison was the reason why he didn't run as much as he wanted to.
Okay, if Alexander Madison was the reason you weren't running, then you as a head coach have every right to bench him and put in another running back. You had Tyson Chandler.
Well, they did. Remember though? They did have another running back come in. They had Cam come in. He took over the starting job. Then he got hurt.
After Cam got hurt, you could still play Chandler.
But I mean, how well did Chandler know the playbook as well? That's another thing. And is Chandler an every down back? I don't know. I just think last year's running game, Alexander Madison, loved the guy, loved his dad, cool guys. But it's the NFL. You ain't doing your job.
He wasn't ready. He wasn't ready to be a running back.
He was not ready to be the one. Yeah.
He was not ready.
I think they got rid of Cook 1 year.
Wait a minute, didn't Chandler have a big game against the Bengals?
Yeah, Chandler had a couple big games, but I don't know if they see Chandler as an every down back.
How can you not?
Just saying, I don't.
Okay, if you don't see Chandler as an every down back after he plays his ass off in 2 games, what the hell are you looking at? What are you looking at? What are you grading it on? Somebody Explain that one to me. What are you grading it on?
But here's the thing with Aaron Jones. Aaron Jones is not gonna like Alexander Madison. If he only got like 5 or 6 carries, I don't think he's gonna say anything. Aaron Jones ain't gonna be quiet about that.
No, Aaron Jones will be vocal.
Yeah.
Aaron Jones will let him know.
Like, what the hell did you bring me in here for if you're only going to give me the ball 5 times? You know, something like that.
Yep. Yeah, he'll let him know. And he'll let him know during the season in a presser. He doesn't care. He's only here for 1 year. So, yeah, and that's another thing too, Bradbury. I don't know. They're going to keep Blueberry. I don't know why, but
According to PFF, he's the best center in the league.
Yeah, PFF can suck my left nut and make the right one jealous too. He's garbage. You know.
But what? Speaking of Reisner, did you see his press conference?
Yeah, I think he moved back because of the restaurants. To be honest,
yeah, it sounds like. But it sounds like.
I think he moved back for the food. I'm not gonna lie, because he didn't say nothing real football wise. He said
no.
He mentioned a bunch of restaurants, and which now I want to go check out, but he didn't say anything about football. All I heard about was food.
Yeah, he talked about coming back and like how this is where he wanted to be in the locker room, yada 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 yada. He's like, the best thing about being back is all the restaurants and food places they get to go to.
You know why he came back? Nobody was.
Well, he said that he said he didn't have very many offers.
He probably had no offers. I can guarantee you right now, he probably had no offers.
He may have had. Well, he said he had more than. He said he had other offers, but my guess is they were probably offered a league minimum.
Oh, God. So basically, he signs with the Vikings for the league minimum.
Well, no, he's making more than minimum, but he said he had a couple. He said he didn't have very many offers, but he had more than one. Is pretty much what he was saying.
Well, they're still gonna start Brandel. They've said that. I guess the one that could be the odd man out is Ed Ingram. Ed Ingram's name has come up now.
But he was the best lineman last year.
Well, that ain't saying much.
The best guard. Sorry.
That's not saying much. I mean, that's not saying much. When it comes to the interior of the Viking offensive line, that's not saying much.
I think Brandel will start off being the starter, but I don't know if Reisner replaces him. And
I think they alternate.
Yeah.
But here's the thing with Reisner. Reisner's a terrible run blocker. He's terrible at run blocking. So if they're going to run the ball, they're probably going to roll with Brandel.
Yeah.
You know? No, Shaq. No, please don't bring back Mike Remmers or Dakota Dozier. Don't bring either one of them back.
Oh, come on. Dakota was come on, man.
Yeah. 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 Shaq with a comment like that, dude, I don't know. You know. Well, there's also talk too. Dalvin Cook's name keeps coming up.
Nah, I'm over that.
I've been over him. Plus, he's not going to come back too because he left here on bad terms with KOC. So we'll see what happens, but I don't think he comes back.
No, I think Aaron Jones and Chandler. We don't need any other running backs unless one gets hurt.
Well, Kenny Nwangu is going to be returning kicks, and that's gonna come into play a lot. It's going to be a lot of kick returns this year.
Right, because they still got what's his name, the guy from UAB,
McBride.
So they still have him. He's the third running back right now.
Oh, they kept McBride. Okay, I forgot about McBride. By the way, speaking about forgetting about players, I forgot this team had N'Keal Harry.
Yep, playing tight end.
I forgot all about him. I'm like, I didn't even. They said they moved him to tight end. I'm like, he's still on the team?
Yeah.
Jeez.
What is he, 6'5", something? Like 230 or something like that?
Yeah, he's a big guy. He's a big guy. Which, okay, if they're moving him to tight end and it's temporary, that probably tells you that
Where's CJ's at?
Hawkinson may be out a little longer than expected. So,
Or they're moving him to tight end in the preseason. Just to get a body out there.
well, they got enough tight ends.
To get him more reps and stuff like
They
that.
got like 90 tight ends already.
I don't know. Maybe they like him better because he can't play tight end receiver. Who else can do that?
There he goes. Then what the hell you got Oliver? What the hell
That's the only thing I'm thinking of. I don't know.
What do you got Oliver for? What do you got?
Oliver's not a number one.
Who's the other guy we've got as a tight end?
Hughes and Munt.
You got Mund. You got Muse. Well, they're run blockers. So we'll see if they actually use them as run blockers this year. It's like right now they're just kind of like moving players around to see where they can put them. But Muse is more of a fullback than a tight end. So.
Yeah, but she's the head speed though. N'Keal Harry doesn't have that speed.
Isn't N'Keal a number one though? Wasn't he a number one?
A draft pick?
He was a number one draft pick, wasn't he?
He was taken in the first round, yes.
That's what I thought.
Yeah, he went to Arizona.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
But another thing I haven't seen is like the Vikings put out all these press conferences of players, after practice.
Yeah,
I haven't seen any of it, JJ McCarthy.
They said they were going to protect him. They were going to he's not going to be on pressers that much. They're going to protect him. They did say that. Everybody else will talk except JJ. They'll keep.
Arizona State. Yeah,
Arizona State. Yeah.
I knew it was like.
They'll keep JJ's presence at a minimum because he is a rookie. They did say they'll do that, so they're monitoring him. They are, they're not going to push him out there. He's not going to be the face of the franchise, at least not right away. But he'll, they plan on rolling with Darnold. So, George, I agree with you. We need to get one more defensive tackle, an inside guy, a big inside guy. Who knows? Maybe these free agents cut it, but I'd rather have a veteran.
I think they're going to wait to cut day.
Well, that's already come and gone.
No, I'm talking about the preseason cut.
Oh, you mean during training camp and stuff?
Yeah, after the training camp, the last cut before the regular season, because there's a week. There's a week between the preseason game and the regular season game. They take that week off in between, so you can sign so they can sign free players to get cut from other teams. I think that's what they're going to wait for.
Maybe make a trade.
Yeah, I think that's what they're going to wait for.
Yeah, so I mean, it depends. I mean, see what happens. The preseason schedule is out. The Viking preseason schedule is out. They got like afternoon games in preseason. So,
as long as it's on a Saturday, I don't care.
Yeah, it's on a Saturday. I think. Yeah, Saturday. One's a Sunday.
And I think two of them are at home too.
Nope, one is at home. I think we're playing the Raiders at home. The first game, and then we're on the road. One of them's Cleveland, I know for sure.
Yeah, I have to watch NFL Plus to watch the preseason games.
I'm lucky. I got a Fire Stick.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, it's
I mean, I understand the protecting JJ, but I would like to hear something from him.
Like what?
Oh, hey, just it's like, just because his connection with JJ and Jets and the receivers.
Okay, honestly, I don't care. That's just me. I mean, I don't need to hear about it. I don't need to have him explain it to me. If they're connecting on the football field and it works, I'm fine. I don't need to hear about it.
Like a 2-minute, 3-minute interview. Just, hey, how's it going out there, JJ? Oh, well, it's going good. This is that. Okay, and then that's it.
See, those interviews do nothing for me. I guess I'm one of those where it's just like, you know what? If I don't hear from the guy, I don't care. I do not care. So,
well, I know Jets answered the question. I know Jets answered the question about McCarthy, but you still want to hear it from the rookie side.
you might have Jets answering for JJ to kind of protect him. I mean, Jets is going to take that leadership role, so he might be the one to answer for JJ. I mean, the kid's a rookie.
Well, I think. Would you consider Jets the main leader on the offense, as far as like the voice on the offense and stuff like that? Because we know Harrison Smith is that guy on defense.
I would say yes.
Is Jets the guy on the offense that comparable to Harrison on the defense?
Yeah, he'll do the talking for the receivers and stuff.
Stop it, you two.
Yeah, he'll do the talking for the offense. Now, here's the thing with the defense. I know Harrison does a lot of talking, but I think Josh Metellus is kind of the voice of that defense.
I think Smith is grooming to take over.
Well, Smith is also going to retire too, so
right. That's what I'm saying. I think Smith is grooming him to take over.
Yeah, so I mean, he's kind of ready to move on. But yeah, JJ is going to be the one that's going to be talking for. Now we got so many JJs. We got.
Well, that's why I say Jets because.
Yeah, we got 2 JJs, JA, TJ, AJ. My God. So yeah, Jefferson will be the one to do the talking. I think Jefferson will be the one. He's kind of going to take on that leadership role now. He's going to take on that leadership role. So yeah, Sarah for $110 million. Yeah, he should be running his mouth big time.
Pay me $110 million. I'll be your spokesman. You want me to say anything? I'll say anything. I don't care.
You pay me that much money to do that talking?
You want me to tell people that the sky is red, even though it's blue? I'll go out there and I'll have them convinced that the sky is red.
Put it this way: you pay me that much money to be a spokesperson, somebody's feelings are getting hurt for sure. And I won't care. I will not care. So, but yeah, I mean,
I don't know if CJ makes the team, Sarah.
CJ Ham?
Yeah.
They're not going to cut him. They're not going to cut him.
So that's a CJ, TJ, a JJ.
You're not going to cut the hometown guy. Yeah, and he's a veteran too. He is a veteran, so you're not going to.
I mean, I don't want them to cut him, but I mean,
they're not going to. If they're going to run the ball, they need that fullback back there to block, the lead blocker. And he's still a damn good blocker when they run the ball. Matter of fact, you should try giving them the ball on 4th and inches instead of fucking having your quarterback try a fucking.
Instead of having your quarterback with chicken legs, do quarterback sneak and having the smallest guy in the field push him.
Thank you. So, yeah, I'll never get over that. I don't think any Viking fan will get over that play.
Not only did you do it once.
Not once, but twice.
But twice.
Yep, not once, but twice.
You couldn't say, "Hey, Oliver, you and Powell switch positions on this play."
Yeah, and you got all those damn tight ends. Why didn't you have a tight end in the backfield?
Bring in a 6 offensive linemen. Bring it, and have them push the quarterback.
Yeah, that's why with plays like that. That's why you question KOC's ability to call plays.
He was trying to be too cute. He out thought himself.
Yeah,
he's like, "Hey, they'll never expect this."
It's funny. he got too cute, and it cost him Dobbs because Dobbs had a concussion in Denver.
Yeah.
He was concussed. So, I mean, I'm going to be honest. I'm optimistic this year, and more optimistic than I've been in recent years, mainly because a certain player is not with the team anymore. So, it's like anything's possible. Could this team be 3-13? Hell yeah. Could they be 14-3? Hell yeah. I mean, could they be in between? Of course. We don't know. They've got to get more turnovers, and if the balls bounce their way, I want them to do something this year that this team hasn't done in a few years, and that's dominate an opponent. Dominate them from start to finish. Don't have a lull between two quarters.
Find out week 1.
Yeah, it's the Giants. Tell you what.
And they play the Titans this year, so the Titans, they should dominate.
Right.
That game should not even be close.
I'll tell you what. You go into New York, and you let Daniel Jones put on a friggin' game of like he did in the playoffs and beat you. You're on a hot seat. You're on a hot seat for the rest of the year.
I don't think that's going to happen.
I don't either. I think Daniel Jones is a joke. Here's the thing too. McCarthyism. If it doesn't work, this is KLC's team now. If it doesn't work with him,
and if it doesn't work with Kwesi's team,
they're gone.
Because what is it? CJ Ham, Harrison Smith, the 2 tackles, the center. That's pretty much it.
That's it.
Well, Metellus. Everybody else is KLC player.
They're guys. Bynum, I think, is Bynum was drafted by what's called.
So was that 5 players, 6 players? Everybody else is a KOC player. It was Josh Jefferson, but most of the players who are going to make important impacts are going to be KOC players. So we'll find out. Because they went from being one of the oldest teams to one of the youngest teams in one offseason.
I'll tell you right now, it's like Kwesi made up for the last 2 years this year, kind of. But the players have to work out on the field, and that's where I said now KLC's got to put it together. If KLC doesn't put it together, we're back to square one.
And Kwesi's first draft was, let's just say it, other than Ingram.
Oh, the shit show?
Yeah.
That's what it was.
Yeah, other than Ingram, they missed everything.
Ingram is starting out of necessity. But everybody
but we've gone through this on this show before. The guard position for Minnesota has always been one of its weakest.
Lately.
Yeah, since
you know what though? But that all started with Zimmer.
It was before Zimmer.
No, you had Steve Hutchinson playing guard.
Yeah, but
you had Hutchinson and Herrera. They were pretty solid.
But overall, though, since the Vikings' history, the guard position has probably been its weakest because, yes, you had your Ed Whites, you had your Randy McDaniels, you had your Steve Hutchinsons.
You had your Milt Sundays. You had Milt Sundays.
Since the 60s, though, since the Vikings, since the Super Bowl era, since the 70s when the Vikings won Super Bowls, Randall McDaniel was really the only really, really good guard they've had. Steve Hutchinson's, remember, as you said, more as a Seahawk. He had a couple good years in
right. Well, they also had. They also had. They had Randall McDaniel's college teammate Todd Kalis, but injuries got to him, and then free agency had. They had Brian Habib.
But yeah, he switched to tackle, though, didn't he?
No, he stayed guard. They had Dave Huffman.
But when he went to Denver, he played right tackle, didn't he?
Nope, he played right guard. Zimmerman was playing left tackle. So I mean, and then they had then when Denny was here. See, when Denny was here, though, he had Randall, but he had David Dixon. So he had guys that were good.
Serviceable.
I mean,
They weren't-
yeah,
yeah.
Dixon was serviceable, but he didn't have any. He had Corbin Lucina. I mean, he had guys that were decent. Recently, the guard play, and I take
And
and,
then, but you take away Hutchinson from it really. Mike Tice Childress was probably when it started. The whole guard. I mean, you're talking like players.
yeah, Childress's last year was terrible.
Yeah, and it
he
hasn't
had-
been. And ever since then, it's been horrible.
I mean, he was running it back with guys like Chris Lewinsky and Adam Goldberg.
Yeah,
And then they had they got Hutchinson, and then Anthony Herrera, and I think the other guard at one time was he had another guard too that was really just bad. Then he got Anthony Herrera, and then it's the guard play has been average at best. Charlie Johnson, just Brendan Fusco.
he's drafted as a center, and I think they switched him to guard.
Nick Easton was a center. They moved him to guard.
Yeah,
They moved Remmers to guard. They moved Pat Elfline to guard.
he's out of the league now. I think.
Yeah, he's out of the league. Yeah. So yeah, guard play's been it's been less than.
But Ingram is one of your best guards in the last 10 years. That's pretty sad.
That don't say much. That really doesn't say much. And then you've got him on a side where you're lined up with a guy who's coming off an Achilles injury.
Mhm.
That doesn't help, So
But I think the plan's in place. Unless they move Rouse to guard, I think they have O'Neal in place to let him go.
I think Rouse stays at tackle. I think he ends up playing right tackle. I think O'Neal could be dangled as trade bait or asked to take a pay cut. Oh, Shaq, thanks. Yeah, we can't forget about Drew Samia. Yeah, right.
Dakota Dozier.
Or Dakota Dozier. But yeah, it's unless
Ryan Cook.
oh God, Ryan Cook. But I mean, it's with Rouse. I don't know. Maybe Rouse could play guard. Oh, Alex Boone. We forgot about Alex Boone.
He left the Vikings for the same reason he left San Francisco.
Mm-hmm. He didn't have his heart in either one.
Well, there's more to it than that too.
Yeah. So here's my thing. So with Juergens, I know we had
I don't think Jurgen starts.
I don't think he starts, but what is he going to play? Guard or center?
No, they don't really have a backup center. That's just they got rid of Schlotman.
They got Feeney, Dan Feeney.
Did he play guard in Chicago?
Play guard and center.
And then because Quisenberry is the backup tackle, right?
Yeah, they've kind
He's
of
the main backup tackle until Rouse is ready, probably.
they kind of made Feeney the backup center.
He wins for porn stash, by the way.
Oh, Feeney?
Yeah.
Oh God, yes. Yeah, that's
What is it with these Feeney guys? Because the guy didn't the running back from the Vikings, Feeney, he had one too, didn't he?
Rick Fenny?
Yeah, he had.
No, he didn't have a mustache. He looked like
I saw the clip where he had one.
Well, back in the day, I mean, like Terry Brown had one. There was one guy that had Terry Brown did. Jeff Wright, Bobby Bryant. I mean, my God, you kind of look at it, like, yeah.
Yeah. It's more of a beard thing nowadays than it is a mustache. But I had a beard before it was cool to have a beard. But it's like, I don't know.
I shave mine because even after all these years, a beard still irritates my face. So it's
I ain't shaving.
and I can't shave that much because shaving irritates my face. So it's kind of like, damn.
And my wife wants me with a beard.
Yeah.
So
I haven't. I had a beard, full beard, years ago, and then I was just like, you know what, it just ain't me. I've
well, the
had,
thing about it is that when you're growing out a beard, it does get to that point where it's really itchy. But
yeah.
once you get past that point, some people can't stand the itchiness. But once you get past that point,
So
but nah. So going back to the quarterbacks, I think because KOC said that JJ has marks he's got to hit.
okay,
I think if JJ hits those marks, and let's say the Vikings are 5-4, Darnold's playing great. Darnold's playing good, but not great. And JJ hits his markers. I think they bring him in.
so basically for the playoff push.
I basically think the only way he doesn't play is if he really struggles, he doesn't hit his marks, or it's going really, really good. Darnold is playing like the number 3 pick everybody thought he'd play like, and the Vikings are like 10-1.
Then Darnold needs to come in here and play like Case Keenum did in 2017 for that to
So
happen.
I think that's the only reason JJ doesn't play. Because if the Vikings are 2-8, JJ's going to play.
JJ's playing even before they get 2-8.
Yeah,
I think, but Mike, the whole thing is, I think JJ will get snaps in games just to get him acclimated to it. I think KOC might do that.
So you're saying like the Vikings are down 14 in the third quarter. He comes down, does a drive.
Or they could be ahead.
Right.
You know, he brings it's there's really no set formula into when to play a rookie quarterback, but you bring them in usually you bring them in if you're getting your ass kicked or if you're winning big.
Yeah.
You kind of want to give him a feel for the game, like in the middle of a game, and he is a rookie, see what he can do. You know, maybe Darnold struggles in the second quarter. You bring
Is that KOC or is that the quarterback because they struggled with Kirk Cousins in the second quarter?
that's Darnold's going to get the blame, but a lot of that is on KOC.
If Donald has a comeback player of the year award, the Vikings say congratulations and go get your money someplace else.
Yeah, he'll get paid.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's going to get paid.
Yeah.
He's going to get paid, so then you automatically move on to JJ. But
Yeah.
JJ's had a year now to sit and watch and learn. And so
and I think if Darnold plays average, I think he comes back as the backup.
Darnold plays average, he probably still gets a starting contract somewhere. He probably still gets starter money. This is an NFL that they will overpay for average quarterbacks. And there's a bunch of teams out there that will overpay for an average quarterback. Either way, JJ is a starter next year.
Yeah.
This is a 1-year deal for Darnold. Darnold, this will be either I'm going to get paid next year or I'm going to get paid next year type of year for him.
Right.
So JJ really has nothing to worry about.
I mean, if he plays very well, there's a team in AFC West that could use him. Because Gardner Minshew's their starter right now.
The Raiders, that's right.
As much as I like Gardner Minshew, Sam Darnold's got more talent in his pinky.
You put Darnold in Las Vegas, they're pretty good.
Yeah.
They're pretty good. Yeah, Sarah, you're right. Look at Kirk. I mean, and Kirk's going to be a little paranoid looking over his shoulder, too, because he's going to get – first time he screws up, he's getting benched. So – but, yeah.
No, I don't think that's going to happen.
No, it's JJ's team. This is
maybe after his third year, if he's really bad, then yes, they won't pick up his 5th year option. I can see
Right.
that if he doesn't play well. But
Of course, he hasn't signed yet either.
yeah, McCarthy's going to be the quarterback next year, no matter what. That's the way I look at it.
This is McCarthy's team.
Yeah.
This is McCarthy's team. Darnold's a 1-year rental, no matter what he does. But this team. They built this team and this offense around.
I got to use the restroom, but George and Bob are having a conversation about 75, Tony.
Do we have to keep talking? Is Bob the one that brings that up like every
Yes.
damn? Oh my god! Oh, Bob, stop!
I'll be back in a
You
second.
know what I'm gonna say. I always say it. He did not fall down. No, he did fall down with help from Drew. Oh my god. Oh. Sarah, that's a good question. Would Kirk have left? Kirk would have left because Kirk wasn't getting the Vikings were not paying him. So Kirk probably would have left. The Falcons did not tell him they were going to draft Penix. So I guess he, but it's like the team can do whatever they want and they can draft whoever they want. Why do they have to talk to you about drafting a quarterback? Especially this GM and this Raheem Morris and the GM. Their jobs are riding on the success they have, especially at the quarterback position. If Kirk doesn't cut it, guess what? Kirk still gets paid, but Raheem and that GM are out of a job. So they're going to want to put their guy in place. So McCarthyism, JJ, yeah, he is next year no matter what. But he could start this year too. But this team is built for JJ. Moving forward, this is JJ McCarthy's team. No questions asked. They're doing what it takes to get JJ acclimated to the offense. So yeah, it's his team. Yeah, Sarah, you're right. The Falcons, and this is where I talked to my girl about this. The reason Kirk is in Atlanta is because of the owner, Arthur Blank. Arthur Blank wants to go back to the Super Bowl, like right now, ASAP. He's up there in age, and he wants to see the team in the Super Bowl, and he wants them to win it. So he basically told his management, pay Kirk Cousins, pay him what he wants. And they worked out a deal for him, and now they're kind of stuck with him. Well, it's 2 years guaranteed, but thank God the Falcons took him because they can have that headache now. And now he's going to be a bigger headache because he's going to be paranoid about Michael Penix. So I know, Sarah. I know. He thinks a lot of people think Kirk is a Super Bowl quarterback. I'm like, what the hell are you seeing that I'm not? There's nothing that says Super Bowl quarterback in his resume. Not a damn thing. So, but that's the way it is. So yeah. So
I will say, I agree with Sarah.
I'm right there with you. I just hate the fact that he went to the Falcons because my girl's team is the Falcons. So, I gotta.
That's a you problem.
Yeah, it's a nice problem. It's not my problem, but it is my problem.
So is Penix taking first team reps because Cousins is still hurt?
I think they're splitting them. Raheem Morris wants to get, he wants to get a good look at Penix, see if he can do it. He knows Kirk can do it, but the thing with Kirk is he's coming off that Achilles, and he's not the most athletic guy in the world, and so we'll see what happens. Exactly, Sarah. Well, you know what? That's not our problem anymore. That is now the problem of the Atlanta Falcons. So, yeah, it's mine.
The cross you have to bear.
Oh, I'm gonna be paid back tenfold. I mean, she had to listen to me complain about you know who for 6 years.
What does
Now
she
it's
think
gonna be.
about Matt Ryan?
She loves Matt Ryan. She loves Matt Ryan. Matt Ryan is her guy. She loves Matt Ryan, hates Michael Vick.
Is it the whole dog thing?
Huh? No, she just never liked Vic in the first place.
No, okay.
She never liked Vic. Matt Ryan is her guy. She loved Julio. She loved Roddy White was one of her favorites. They dismantled her defense in 2012. And that kind of helped them fall apart. So
To be honest with you,
I
don't think. I think JJ's the guy they wanted the whole time.
JJ's the guy they wanted. I don't think they would have took Penix.
Let's just say at 10. Let's just say when the Vikings picked at 10 that we already know that was Bo Nix. They didn't take Bo Nix. But let's just say it was JJ McCarthy, Penix, Bo Nix, and I don't know. Jalen Daniels was there at 10.
They would have took McCarthy.
I still think they take JJ.
They were all in on McCarthy. Yeah, they were all in on McCarthy from the jump. So
At least
you know what, George? With Kirk, it's like you were coddled here. You had Mannion in the friggin' quarterback room, and you also had Mullins, no threats to you. Now you've got a legitimate threat in Michael Penix. And this coaching staff is not going to kiss your ass because I'm sure that coaching staff didn't want him there in the first place. That was the owner's call. So yeah. So if I'm online and I'm doing a lot of these shows and I just have that worn down, beaten look on my face, it's because I was listening to my girl talk about Kirk. So I think McCarthy was plan one altogether. McCarthy was plan one. Herbert was never going to come here because you were trying to get a quarterback on a rookie contract, and Herbert's got a bunch of guaranteed money coming up. So they were never going to trade for Herbert. The whole neighbors thing with New York and the Giants, I don't know if that was a smokescreen or not. Don't know how serious the Giants were. The Jets were never going to take him, which is kind of ironic because both New York teams think they got over on the Vikings in this year's draft, when in reality it was you didn't get over anything. I mean, Neighbors is catching passes from Daniel Jones, please. Yeah, they might have called. They called everybody. Were they serious? No. Because you incur that contract that Herbert has, and he just signed a big extension. So he's making damn near Kirk money, and it's going to kill your cap further down the line. This way, with the rookie quarterback, the only major thing that's going to be a cap problem is JJ, and that's not a problem. So, yeah, Sarah, I don't buy the Neighbors thing either, but there might have been something to it. But I don't buy it. I don't buy it. Although I can see the Giants being jerks to the Vikings and drafting them. So
I also going back to the Rappaport and all that type of stuff. The news about where have we heard all this news about JJ's being traded? JJ this, JJ that. The Vikings are trading JJ. That from what it sounds like somebody heard that someone contacted the Vikings about trading JJ, and they said, "Well, someone's contacting the Vikings about trading JJ. I guess that means he's getting traded." Well, I think it was he was it. I think it was Rappaport. Pretty much said every time someone called to talk about trading for JJ, they shut it down immediately.
Schefter said the same thing too.
Yeah. Yeah, it was Schefter. Sorry.
Yeah,
But
Schefter.
Schefter, he pretty much said they shut it down immediately. That they were never trading JJ. So I'm assuming that's why you can't believe rumors, because someone probably heard that someone called the Vikings to inquire about JJ, and they ran with it, saying, "Oh, the Vikings are trading JJ." So now give me 1 second.
Yeah, they put the rumors out there during the draft and to see what the interest is. JJ wasn't going anywhere. He was going to be a Viking. The Wilfs were not going to let their main attraction, as far as ticket sales go and marketing, leave this team. So they were going to pay him. He's now the veteran. So the neighbors thing, see, that's the whole thing. I don't know how the Giants got into the whole quarterback discussion anyway. I know Daniel Jones sucks, but it sounds like they're going to run him back with Dabble, and if it doesn't work this year, they're both gone. So, it's but pre-draft, there's always rumors, there's always stuff being said with players moving around, but
I think that Neighbors was trash.
Yeah, and the Giants are a dumpster fire right now too. So,
well, they weren't going to draft a quarterback because all the money they're putting into Daniel Jones this year.
I'm hearing they're going to cut bait with him though.
I mean, if he has a bad year, I can see it. Yeah.
Yeah, they'll cut bait with Dabble too. So then it's kind of like, who the hell?
After this year for Jones, not this year because it costs too much.
It'll be after,
yeah.
It'll be after. So if he goes, then Dabble goes. How much? I mean, it's New York though. I wouldn't want to play in New York. I wouldn't want to.
No. And they're probably, I mean, the pressure playing for them is like the Yankees are like probably the worst team to play for.
Yep. By the way, did Tua get an extension in Miami? He hasn't got one either, has he?
No.
Yeah,
by the way, speaking of the Yankees, the Twins look like a fucking AAA team going against them.
I didn't watch it. Yep, I did not watch it. So
that is the one thing about Dumatel, is that he made the Giants sign Jones.
Yeah, I hope he got some of that money from Daniel. I hope he got, because if it wasn't for Donatel, Jones wouldn't have got paid.
Yeah.
He would not have got paid. Well, Ketch, should we wrap this up?
Yeah, we're at 2 hours.
Okay. Still a 2-hour show, and the subject was actually really short.
Oh, we only talked 40 minutes.
Right.
On the actual topic itself.
Right.
And then we, opened it up to questions in the chat,
Mm-hmm.
But, yeah. So we'll definitely have more. If you guys have any ideas for a vintage show, let us know. You can hit me up at the YouTube channel here, or you can go to Catch 80. There's no TYA on X. It's just Catch 84. So if you have any questions, also contact Sarah too. I think she's on Twitter, the same name she uses here. She'll shoot it over to us.
I'm on Twitter, X, Purple Jersey Guy. That's my handle on Twitter, so I can take suggestions there. So,
And you also have 2 Facebook pages too.
and I have 2 Facebook pages. I have my main page, Tony Bell, and then I also have Minnesota Vikings 24/7, 365. You can give me show ideas there. But thank you everybody for listening. George, thank you so much.
Thank you, George. Yeah.
Thank you so much, George. Much appreciated. Sarah, thanks for coming on. Bob.
Give 1 second.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead and end the show, Tony.
Yeah. Thank you everybody for giving us the time to listen to us tonight. If you are you should be excited. It's a season of optimism. New season, new team, basically.
Yeah. It's doing the same thing.
It is
my show real quick.
a reason for optimism. I'm excited. And if
All right.
everybody that's listening to me knows that I was not always excited, this year I am. So.
Sorry, my maintenance guy's here. My hot water here is leaking water.
Oh, okay, no problem.
All right. Thank you guys for joining our show as usual. We appreciate it. And
have a good night, everyone.
Have a good night. And we may do a show Friday. We'll let you guys know. We don't know yet.
Skull Vikings, let's win this game. Skull Vikings, honoring the name. Go get that first down, then get a touchdown. Rock 'em, sock 'em.